Hello, welcome to our first post-international post-game show. It's post. We hit the post twice, but it led to a goal. Let me tell you something. A win is a win. We scored the goal, and that is epic. And Mike's got his YouTube on in the background. We'll forgive him for that. Here we go. The Arsenal are on the march. Are they? Don't be disappointed. We won.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Hey, welcome. We won a game. Super Kevin Campbell's back. We scored a goal. Magic Mike's here.
And we got a clean sheet.
Double bop.
Everything's fine now.
Look, we know it's not. We know it's not. And by the way, everybody, we got to give them a salute, mate. Give the squaddies a salute. At ease, guys. Come on.
Thanks, Super Kev, for the reminder. Always. Listen. Okay, stop. Okay, I'm just going to start with something here. The world isn't perfect. Arsenal Football Club are not perfect. All everyone kept saying before this game is, can we just please score a goal and win? Yes, it's Norwich City. This is the first game with this team and these players playing together. This is what you asked for. Now, of course, ESR was on the bench and Thomas Partey was on the bench, and we're going to get to all of those things. But if we'd have lost today, it would have been an absolute catastrophic disaster. But we scored and we won, even if it was a bit lucky in the end. Super Kev.
Yeah.
This is what we wanted. We needed to start somewhere because we were at the most, you know, at rock bottom. So
yeah,
I know it's not perfect, Kev. I know it's not perfect.
No, and you know what, Sophie? We were far from perfect today. Of course we were far from perfect. But if you can't take some positives out of this game, something's wrong. Something really is wrong. Changing goal. Ramsdale, we're going to get to markings and all that. Centre-half pairing that came in. And let's be honest, Norwich had some play. Norwich, they've got nothing to lose. They can play a lot freer. Pookie, his movement is very good. We've seen him catch teams out, but we looked solid. I thought Tomiyasu looked good. I thought Kieran Tierney looked more like himself. Obviously, there was no part. I thought Lokonga was outstanding in the centre of the pitch. It was just us feeling our way up front that we couldn't seem to get it together. But we asked for Aubameyang to be the difference maker, Sophie, haven't we? We've asked, he's got to come to the party. And he did. Mm-hmm. He proved to be the difference. The width of a post here and there. You know, we make it 2-0 and the game's a lot more relaxed. So, again, it's not all roses. But you know what? We take it. We jump a few places as well. So, you know, let's move forward. And Spurs lost. So even better. And Patrick Vieira done us a favour. So come on, Gooners.
Massive
come on.
Just for nostalgia. Vieira, whoa. That was pretty epic. By the way, when I started the show, my microphone was backwards from my excitement of the fact that we just scored a goal. So hopefully you can hear me properly now. Mike, just from the fan point of view, I saw there were a few comments in chat, and then you're like, come on, you've got to be happy with the win. We can't win either way. And we're going to get into the specifics of everything when Kev takes us through all the players and the ratings. But what a relief. Yeah. You know, it's like that old commercial, pop, pop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
Alka-Seltzer. Yeah, I at points in the game, you needed a little bit of Alka-Seltzer, but yeah, you got to look at Arsenal in two ways. You got to look at the global situation and the in-the-moment situation. And if you can't enjoy the in-the-moment part because of the global part, I don't know what to say. I remember a game last season. I think it was probably in the last season or season before in the Europa League where we just nailed it in the 93rd minute. It was one of the worst games we played, but we nipped it. We went through to the next round, and I was just on cloud nine, even though I realized how pathetic the overall performance was and that it didn't bode well. So look, in the moment, I'm happy. We scored kind of a scrappy goal. We probably should have had more opportunities. Krul played lights out, as he always does, as every keeper plays when they play against the Arsenal. But job done, 3 points. We're out of the relegation zone, and the only catastrophe, the only catastrophe was the first 15 minutes of the game here in the States, where we had to look at an admittedly adorable cat instead of the Arsenal game on Peacock.
Kev, the app collapsed, and so did the entire Arsenal American nation.
The feed went. Oh my God.
They thought they could buy our affection with this cute cat picture, but I don't. They're just making people angry at cats, which is not cool.
Yeah. No, who wants to be angry at a cat? NBC felt the wrath of the Arsenal nation in these great United States. Okay, Kev, I want you to talk me through something just before we get to the play ratings, because I think it will help when we go through that that part of the game. There are a lot of people that kept saying, "Wow, with all these players, Arteta still set us up for Arteta ball," i.e. a bit still defensive and not creating enough chances. Can you help me especially understand how the team was set up? And it did feel like we were lacking in creating those chances, and at some point our play slowed down. Can you just talk me through how he set the team up and why some fans might think it was negative?
Well, it's 4-2-3-1, isn't it? The first thing I will say is fans might think it's negative because it's Norwich. And we should be tucking them in very quickly after 20 minutes. Unfortunately, that isn't football. Football is not only about how you set up, but it's how the opposition set up. And we said it yesterday, Sophie, the opposition are going to set up to make life difficult for us. They're not going to come to the Emirates and just let us do what we want to do. So there had to be some adjustments within the game as well. Okay, this was really important. I thought we played through them not too bad. Again, if we'd have our finishing boots on, the game, they would have had to open up a lot more. But the longer it's 0-0, Sophie, they start to gain a bit more confidence. That's what happens. So, again, the 4-2-3-1 with Aubameyang at the spearhead. Obviously, you've got Saka and Pepe. We've got Odegaard, who I thought had a decent game in the midfield, linking things together. But, it's sometimes you have to play until the opposition tire or switch off. Then you can get your opportunities. It's not always just going to happen. And the way we have been, Sophie, it was probably always going to be that way, that we are going to... It has to be attrition. We have to work them before they start switching off and we get the opportunities. And that's what happened. We got a scruffy goal. We take it. We take it.
Yeah. And I think, Mike, Kev puts it right. Today, I wanted to definitely see a better performance. And considering our first 3 games, this was a better performance. Still not perfect, still not there, still so much work to do. But I saw a better performance. And in the end, today, I just think the most important thing was, yes, we needed to see more energy. And in the first 20 minutes, I thought was like, whoa, what Arsenal team is this? Where's this energy been in the first 3 games? But then just to get the 3 points, to shift up, and someone just put in chat, we're only 6 points behind Tottenham. And I mean, that's not our barometer for the season, but it's the 4th game and we bagged those 3 points. And to me, that's the most important thing, in addition to seeing a little bit more of an elevated energy going out there. We
got a little, I think the schedule, as difficult as it's been on us in the first 3 games, I mean, even Brentford was never going to be easy given the emotions that they were feeling on that day. I think the fact that we had Norwich and then Burnley We play Burnley next week, right? I'm not making a fool of my. All right.
Yeah, Burnley.
In that order, I think it helped us because Norwich were always going to play a little bit more into our hands, a little more open. Burnley knows how to set up against us, and I think given the fact that we weren't really finishing and had a ton of end product today, that easily could have been a 0-0 if it was Burnley playing. Now I think with the confidence and the swagger back, I mean, I say that in air quotes. We're not, back to 2004 Arsenal by any means, but now that we've got the muscle memory of winning and finishing and being able to frankly, the play at the back, Norwich had a lot of chances. And it was kind of that old style diving in front of balls and last ditch efforts to block shots so that Ramsdale didn't have to get to.
That was good, wasn't it, Mike? That was excellent. And we don't want our keeper having to make too many saves.
No, but I mean, I remember even in the 06, 07, 08, 09, you even though we weren't winning things, you could always feel confident that when the other team was on the attack, we were going to find a way to get a leg in or a head in and stop the opposition from having easy chances to score. In the last 5 years, anytime the ball's in our final third and the other team's got possession, you're nervous. So, one game, I think we saw a lot of that. And magically, we had our probably preferred back four that I'd like to see, every Saturday or Sunday lining up. And I think that made a big difference. But now against Burnley, I think we can go and set up and possibly overcome their tactics and beat a team that we should beat. Had that been today, I think it could have posed some problems for us. So Norwich was the perfect opponent on the perfect weather day at the Emirates with a crowd that sounded fantastically into it. And, you got to leave looking at next week and saying we can do this now.
Definitely. And, Kev's going to start taking us through those player ratings because it will kind of expand our conversation here on the overall team and performances. And yes, you know what? We call it as we see it here on our channel, okay? And we're not going to sit here and I could sit here and absolutely rip Arteta to pieces, but I'm not going to do that. That's not our style. It's not me. I will criticize him when it is absolutely 100% deserved. But today, we pulled it together. We've got the team and the players that we've invested in on the pitch. And you guys, once Tom's... I'm going to let Kev run through the players because the difference... I hope Josh is watching this after his...
Just that first pass. Just that one pass. That one pass.
Kev,
made such a mass... Well...
Let's start at the top. Let's just start at the top and we'll go through all the players.
Let's start with... Our number 32 in the goal was Aaron Ramsdale, who I thought was outstanding. In whatever he had to do, he'd done it well. Go on, Magic. Let's hear what you got to say.
Well, because of our back four, he didn't have to do that much, but he looked so confident. I mean, I don't want to get into making this about what people said or thought when he was signed. It's hard not to though, because it's just that narrative all the time. But Ramsdale, he has every opportunity to be our number one keeper for the next 10 plus years. That rarely happens in football. I know that, but I mean, the guy did nothing wrong. And fortunately didn't have to do a lot, but I think his play with the ball at his feet, I mean, it's just, I think that back four and Ramsdale is gonna pose some problems for teams trying to break through to us, and it just hasn't been the case with Leno. So Ramsdale, he didn't have to do that much, so I'll give him a 7.72. You had to know I was going there.
Of course. Listen, for me, here's what I've wanted. Kev and I talked about this, and when everyone was ripping him, we stood up and we were like, come on, stop. This guy signed for his dream club. He had his grandfather's ashes with him when he signed. I've got chills. When he signed his contract. We want players who want to play for the Arsenal and play for the badge. And this guy stepped in a cauldron today because had he made a mistake, had we lost this game, huge pressure. That dip of the shoulder when the attacker came at him and he controlled the ball. If you want to see a goalkeeper with confidence who's happy to wear that shirt, and also believes in himself, my goodness, for me, he gets an 8. He was solid, Kev. He is going to be, like we said, that vocal leader. He was like yapping throughout the whole game. You've played with goalkeepers like that. I'm spending a little bit more time talking about him because Arsenal fans ripped the club and him to shreds when we signed him.
Is he our number one now? I mean, is he our number one?
100 for me, 100%. Leno will never start a game for me unless, God forbid, Ramsdale is injured. And there might be hiccups along the way, Kev and Mike. But you know what? First game, absolutely, he gets an 8.
You know, for me, I look at it and I look at the dysfunction we've had at the back for a long time. It's one week Leno does well, next week Leno messes up. You know, he's not great with the ball at his feet at times. The defense looks a bit disjointed, etc. So Sophie and I spoke about this throughout the week, to be honest, and we said, if Ramsdale plays, we want to see how he marshals the defense, how he communicates with them. I didn't think, although Norwich had some good positions, I don't think we ever really looked in problems until that Gabriel challenge right at the end, where Gabriel had to make that challenge to preserve our clean sheet. And that's why we so wanted Gabriel in there. I think Ramsdale done a really, really good job. First game.
Someone in the chat saying the price tag was the issue. I'm sorry, when Kepa signs for £70 million or whatever it is, a price tag of $24 million for a homegrown 23-year-old eager keeper is not an issue for me. Yeah. It is only being discussed because it was millions more than we sold everyone's favorite Argentinian, goalkeeper of all time for less. But I mean, get over that, okay? Get over it.
And Mike,
exactly.
Mike, also, please.
I'm sorry, did you call me Mike?
Listen.
Magic.
No. I'm calling you Mike at that time. Magic comes after.
Okay.
Listen to this. They used the relegation to beat this poor guy. He's been relegated. What does that mean? That don't mean that he's not good. So here we go, Magic. Ramsdale deserves all those people who questioned him to hold their hand up.
And some people are saying, Kev, like 1 game and you guys, it's 2 games, 2 clean sheets. And you know what, you guys? It's about time that you started getting behind some of these players when they play well.
Exactly.
1 game for the Arsenal at where we're at right now with the low ebb of confidence is everything. You've got to start somewhere. And we're not
news cycle is.
Come on.
So if you know what the news cycle is, right, Kev? I mean, news cycle is like how long it takes to to have a new topic come up. The news cycle in football right now is about 19 minutes of game time. That's how long you have to either prove yourself or be binned off because you've made a mistake. So 90 minutes actually tells you quite a bit these days. It isn't a whole season like it used to be where you could wait and weigh everything out.
Magic,
2 games.
Especially in the predicament we're in.
Yeah, and Kev,
the predicament we're in is tough.
We were saying in the green room before we came on, and someone put it here earlier, and I had it up. Chelsea paid 72 million for Kepa. Okay, where's Kepa now? 72 million.
Oh, but Kepa won a Champions League, and Ramsdale got relegated.
No, but the thing is, he wasn't even the goalkeeper. The
point
I know,
but that's the point. That's the point.
The point is that we get ripped for investing in a young English player. If City or Liverpool had bought Ramsdale, they'd be like, "What a great investment in a young keeper who could end up being the England goalkeeper."
Why don't we do
Arsenal,
that,
Kev? Right, yeah. Exactly. Okay, next,
right.
Kev.
Number 2, Tommy Arsu, were right back. I go with Sophie on this one first.
All right. For me, a solid debut. I thought that as the game went on, he got tired, and that is understandable considering what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. But my goodness, did he almost have a fantastic debut goal. Oh. This is what you see glimpses of what a player's technical ability. Technically, I thought he was really sound, Kev. You saw glimpses of what he could do and how he can contribute. Had that goal gone in, the Emirates roof would have just gone whoop. And I just thought he did really well. First game, again, under intense pressure, coming into a position that has been scolded so far this season and also at parts last season. He's going to be the starter. He's going to be the guy. And I think seeing that partnership at the back, for me, I was thinking if there's one thing to take away from this game today is that he arcs the Tierney, Gabriel, White backline, where you can look forward to the fact that if we can keep them fit, I liked him a lot, and I liked his attitude.
It's almost like there's like a
he played unafraid, didn't he? So he was what?
No, I'm saying it's almost like the personnel decisions in building this ideal back four comes from some sort of process.
Yeah.
Shut it.
The process. Oh, geez, Mike. Listen, by the way, my mark for Ramsdale was 7, right? My mark for Ramsdale was 7. Right. Magic, have you finished with Tomiyasu? Or have you not even started, Magic?
No, I haven't even started with him. I'll be quick, though. Debuts like this are the ones where, again, you can get judged after 19 minutes. And the thing that really impressed me is that he had opportunities and he took advantage of every opportunity to head the ball. I mean, for people that are into the stats, aerials won, I believe, is a stat that people pay attention to. I don't know what it was, but I think he probably won every single one of them. He looks confident. He looks like he belongs already. It's one game. It's not even a full game, which, I see people in the chat saying, why did Arteta take him out? Because he took him out because he needed to come out. I mean, he
was tired.
I mean, maybe he was tired. Maybe they're just, they're easing him in. I mean, maybe he wanted a different setup to close the game out. But I think it was a great debut from him. He almost pulled a Cedric with a wonder goal in his debut against Norwich. That would have been a fantastic goal. But just the fact that he tried that was cheeky enough for me. So yeah, I'm excited to see the guy play. And my God, if we can consolidate that right back position, I mean, I'm getting excited about just having one game a week, which is, I guess, a little bit of me trying to make things okay in my own mind. But because I think he could play every game for us now instead of having to keep rotating in and out, and we can be done with this whole Bellerin Chambers situation.
Cedric,
so
anybody, we got
put it in the rearview mirror.
So Tomiyasu, please stay healthy, and I'm giving him an 8.109.
Okay, Magic.
Kev?
A little bit better than an 8.
Well, listen, I thought he was solid. I thought his passing is a lot better than many people would ever give him credit for. Both feet, not only right foot, left foot passing. Aerially, he's dominant because obviously he can play centre half as well. And he marauds forward as well. We were told that he doesn't go forward. He marauds forward.
Did we see him cross today? I mean, because that's the one I feel like I didn't really see many
Didn't really see many crosses, Magic, because we got no one in there to head it. Do you know what I mean?
He's the guy that should be heading it. He's incredible in the air.
Yeah.
Well, how many times, Kev, were there balls in the box where even Aubameyang and there was no one there? There was no one there. That's
Norwich.
something we got to work on. Go on, Kev. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I thought for 65 minutes, he was tough. He got close to people, which I love. He weren't letting anybody get away with anything. He was putting bodies on them. So I like that in a right back. Did you
expect him to start today?
Chippy.
Did you expect to see him in the 11?
I did, actually.
I didn't.
Mike. I did.
I was
really
pleased to see it.
Yeah, I did. And
imagine when he gets more time, you guys. He trained for what, 3 or 4 days, and he's not even settled in yet. He's come to a brand new country. He's been playing in Syria. And we have to kind of take all these things into consideration. And
definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
I give Tomiyasu 7.5 today, because I was really impressed with him. I'll be honest with you. I was really impressed with him. So 7.5 for me.
Yay! No more Chambers. Woo!
Chambers can go back to being what I said he should be, which is a squad player. So if I never said he should be our starting right back.
He should be playing for Norwich.
Going back he should be going back out of the club.
All right.
Actually,
And
sorry,
us
he wouldn't get
replacing
into
him.
Norwich's team. Yeah.
Gutting
Listen,
out.
Kev,
He's
we've
just
got
so handsome,
750 in live chat right now.
Wow.
I mean,
come on, guys. Minimum.
After a win, too.
Minimum
After a
400
win.
after a win. Minimum 400. Get Vinny. Vinny lit it.
I'll
You
bring
hit
Vinny
it.
out. Here we
Touch
go.
it.
Come on.
Go, Vinny.
Come on,
Hit
Vinny.
it. Come on, hit it. Hit that like button, please, everybody. Arsenal won, and we're not going overboard. We're just saying we're happy
No.
about that.
If you love Arsenal being out of the relegation zone, hit that like button.
All
Is
of
it
the
okay
above.
to just be happy that your team won a game after being
No,
like at
no,
death's
you're not
door?
allowed because it's only Norwich a lot of the time. Only Norwich. Some people will say.
Well, then we need to create something like a Super League where there's no Norwiches and
Let's
play
not
in
go
that.
there, Magic.
Let's not go there. What's next? Who's next, Kev?
Ben White, second game for the Arsenal. Ben White, we discussed on Kev Says yesterday about the partnerships. So what's your thoughts on Ben White, Magic?
I think he was Ben Wright today. The partnerships are everything. Ben White on his own, Pablo Mari on his own, Rob Holding on his own. I mean, you played football, Kev, right? I mean, you can be very good, but if you're
Just a little.
I mean, I've heard that you were a footballer at one point. But yeah, the partnerships are what matters, and if Ben White and Gabriel is our partnership, today was a pretty good sign. And if we can, I venture to say we didn't start the same back four once in consecutive games last season. I would almost guarantee that that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, Ben White looked confident. He didn't do anything particularly special, but that's kind of what you want out of a center back. So I'll give him a solid 7.21.
Ooh.
This comment, Mike, is really interesting from Irie Lion. Hardly noticed him. And sometimes that's a good thing for defenders.
Yeah, you don't want that for your striker, but for a defender, yeah.
Exactly. Neat.
Yeah, we notice the hell out of Mustafi all the time. Let's just put it that way.
Exactly. And Socrates, Socrates is a little less than Mustafi, but I just wanted to say that name out loud again, just one more time anytime I get the opportunity. I tell you something, Kev, he can pass the ball. In the opening, he is, and you know what, Kev? He's got the sweeping pass in him, the ball breaker pass that he can make cross-field as well. I like him. He reminds me, you know what? Shoot me if you want, Arsenal fans. I give zeros. He is an elevated John Stones, and we're going to see that. We're going to see that in time. He is a really classy defender. And I think he's going to bring a lot to the table when we get the opportunity. I was a little bit disappointed at times because people weren't thinking as quickly as Ramsdale. There were so many times where Ramsdale wanted to get the ball out fast and the team weren't ready for that. And I don't know if that's a coaching thing, Kev, you can tell me. But they weren't moving fast enough because Ben White, that ball, that over-the-top ball that we've talked about as well, I think he's got that in him. For me, he gets a solid 7 today.
Yeah,
he's like a Louise that you can trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the passing, and he looks trustable. He won his headers today as well, which was important. Obviously, in the first game, it was a lot more difficult against Ivan Toney. But today, I thought, again, if you don't really notice him, but he gets good balls and he passes well, I give him a real solid 7. He tied it up. He let Pookie know a couple of times. That's what I wanted. I wanted our defenders to let their striker know that they were there. And I'm happy with that. So I'll give him a 7 as well. I thought he done home debut. I thought he done pretty well.
Kev, everyone keeps talking, and one thing that everyone's concerned about is his aerial ability. But maybe that we'll see an improvement on that. When you have Gabriel next to you, I think that's okay. But that's the one thing that fans are a little bit concerned about. And I don't know, you can tell me if it makes a difference if you're playing with a player who's far superior aerially and your traits are different, because I feel like they complement each other.
Well, that's why we talk about partnerships, Sophie. As you see, We're going to deal with Gabriel next, but Gabriel is the aggressive one. The ball's there to be won. He wants to go and win it. And Ben White looks to be smart, clever. He wants to clean up. He wants to get on the ball and start our attacks. There's times where he moves into that midfield effortlessly and he plays a ball to a red shirt, which makes a real difference. It makes a real difference, yeah. A defender moving into midfield and passing it to a red shirt and getting it back and then passing it makes a massive difference to us. So I understand about aerially, etc. But again, today, which is what we're talking about today, he won his headers and he defended pretty well. And it's a massive tick because clean sheet.
Yes, perfect.
Clean sheet.
Who's next, Kev?
We go to the big man. We got him back, Gabriel, the partner for Ben White. And I'm going to go with you on this one, Soph. What's your thoughts on Gabriel's first game back?
Okay, cool. Sorry, AG, did I not give a mark for Tommy? I give him a solid 7. I thought he was good.
Yeah.
Gabriel, for me, gets an 8, maybe an 8.5. I tell you, when you talking about missing players in your team, okay, he's like having the, it's like we've had the spaghetti without the sauce this whole time. You know what I mean?
Not good.
Not good. He is such a special, for me, I think he's going to grow into this role, leader. He commands that space. He doesn't allow anyone to bully him. He's a bully himself. He's great in the air. I think he's good with his feet. He made that tackle you talked about at the top of the show, Kev. So good. For me, I just think, please keep... To me, he's as important as Saka staying fit. He's as important as Aubameyang staying fit, as Emile Smith-Rowe staying fit, Thomas Partey, Gabriel. We need him. And for me, I can't wait to see how his Arsenal career progresses. I love the guy.
I mean, I'm crossing myself for his health, and I'm a Jewish guy between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and I'm crossing.
We'll make you Greek Orthodox today.
I'll do whatever I have to do to keep Gabby healthy because, I mean, I feel I was very critical of our performances in the last 2 games against the 2 Champions League finalists because of the way that we came out. I felt that we just didn't show heart. We didn't show a team that was together. And I acknowledged the fact that we were missing a lot of our first choice players, but still was just very, very disenchanted with the performance. But then you see what those players do when they come in and they're healthy and they got the bit between their teeth and they got, some of them that didn't play in over the break, 2 weeks of rest and recuperation. And, I swing back the other way saying, mentally this team needs to be a little bit better coached. They need to be able to get up for every game, even if they're playing without some of their best players. And we're still short in that regard. But my God, does it make a difference when we have that back four compared to the other back fours that we've had, those midfielders compared to, it just makes such a difference.
Yeah.
And so I'll do whatever kind of superstitious or religious signaling I need to do in order to keep these guys healthy. Because, I'll even, I think I have a yarmulke around here somewhere. I'll do whatever I got to do.
Oh, Magic, you're funny. What mark do you give him?
Gabriel, 8.47. Almost an 8. I didn't want. I've been higher, I think, than both of you on most of these things. I wanted to just nip in below Soph on that one because she gave him an 8.5. But he was.
Your boy, he's giving him an 8. Hey, Owen, how you doing?
Dominant.
Yeah,
he was dominant. He was dominant. He is the player that made Tierney look lot more solid today. Tierney's still up and down the left, but he hasn't got to worry about Mari anymore. Gabriel's there, so he can go forward and do what he wants to do. Makes Ben White even a better player because he's so aggressive. Makes Ramsdale a better player because when Ramsdale's probably talked to him, he goes and does it. And we looked a lot better as a back four. Not the finished product. It's only the first game. But again, we're going to see Gabriel's worth moving forward now. I give Gabriel.
And we're
8.5.
seeing this. We're
really
seeing
do.
this against a team that's very poor, as Owen would say. I tried to train him this morning how to say pour. I was like, just imagine you're pouring out a drink, and he's like, I don't do that. But we're playing against a team that's poor.
He's Irish. He just drinks straight out the bottle of the can, mate. What are you talking about?
And he says purr like that cat that we saw on
look at this from Arguna though, guys. Look, 6'2", 6'3", 6'2". Boop. You know,
transfer strategy.
Yeah. Who's next, Kev?
Kieran Tierney, KT, is next, and I'm gonna start with you, Sophie, on Kieran Tierney. What's your thoughts?
Better. Much better than we've seen. But again, it just proves in football, and Kev says it all the time, you're only as good as those players around you, right? And I think today played with a little bit more confidence. There were times where he crossed the ball. And again, Kev, I think this is the part of our game where we need to be a bit more adventurous, take that handbrake off, let players run into that box. That was what got us off our feet about the Arsenal team in the 90s and in the early 2000s as well, is players just 3-4 players. Who's going to shoot? Don't, you know, sometimes we do a tiki-taka too much instead of just like going for goal and stuff like that. So I think Tierney did good today. I will give Tierney a solid 6.5.
Okay. Magic?
Oh, Caps read my mind. Well done, Caps.
I love in the chat. I mean, it's not everyone, but a couple people in the chat giving these like 4 decimal point ratings.
Well, you started it, so now it's here to stay.
I love it. Diddley Squad, I think, was like 6.2179. Tierney, of the 4 in the back 4, he's the one that probably will rate the lowest for me today. Not because he did anything wrong, really, just because he didn't do. I mean, he didn't need to. Like I think it's good if we're not giving Tierney 8s with everyone else as a 6. He's the type of player that you want to just be solid and not have to do the spectacular, not have to carry the team on his back. So rating wise, I'd give him a 6.27. It's going to be the lowest of probably all of my ratings today, but that's not because I thought he had a bad game. And you mentioned Gabriel. This is where I'm tactically short, but I'm borrowing this off of Owen, who I watched the game with today. Tactically speaking, did we have maybe a little bit of midfielders coming back and covering his left?
Sorry, Mike.
Bye,
Darren. Come on.
Oh,
if you can't be happy that we won, today, no one's saying we're going to win the league. We're going to do anything. We're just happy our team won. Find some happiness. It's okay to just be positive for a second. No one's saying with a finished article. Relax.
Burnley next week, Darren. It could all change. Yeah. We don't know.
We could lose against Burnley. In fact, I predicted that we would beat Norwich and lose to Burnley. It's going to be like this.
Let's see. Yeah. So let's see.
Kev predicted that we beat everybody in the first 10. No,
yeah. We were getting 30 points out the first 10 games. It's all right.
I predicted 35 points out of the first 10 games, so I'm clearly way off.
Yeah,
But did and I guess this will dovetail into the midfield, but did Maitland-Niles perhaps serve a purpose of doing what Xhaka used to do and kind of filling into that left back position when Tierney would bomb up pitch? I mean, am I imagining that? Because I mean that seemed he's like a willing version of what Xhaka would have to do when Tierney goes up the pitch. I mean, is that the rationale behind playing him there?
Magic? No, not necessarily. I just think you try and get the best out your players where they play. But the fact of the matter is Gabriel's there. Because Gabriel's there, you don't need to go over to that side as much and sit in there as a left back. You could sit in midfield, and if somebody starts progressing down there, then you could go out. As opposed to Xhaka used to go and sit in that position. Why? Because he needed to. Now we don't need to. We've got 2 midfielders there. If anybody breaks out, Maitland-Niles can go out. And if he gets past Maitland-Niles, obviously Gabriel's there.
Well, that's the last time I'm taking tactical recommendations from Owen. That's my announcement.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, I think you're smart. That's a smart move, Magic.
I'll trust my own instincts instead.
I give Kieran Tierney 6.5. He didn't do anything wrong. I thought his breaks down the left-hand side early on were pretty good. We just, as an attacking force, we just weren't quite there today. And it's no fault of his. We just weren't quite there. We got over the line in the end. And maybe some better finishing would have seen us way over the line a lot earlier. But I'm going to give Kieran Tierney a 6.5. Good performance.
So red for Darren, Kev. I was delayed. VAR
right,
decision.
VAR, yeah.
Red card for Darren. Sorry, Darren.
Okay.
We love you.
Sambi Lokonga. Hey, we're going into the midfield now. Sambi Lokonga. I'll go
I'm going
with
to keep
Magic.
this short. Oh, right,
No,
go on then, Magic.
go on then, Soph. You keep it short. Go on.
I'm going to keep it short and simple. This guy is a high-end mustard. The way he touches the ball, the way he moves, his vision, and I'm not being funny. I was really disappointed when he was substituted because when Thomas Partey came on, I just wanted to see them together, even if it was for 20, 25 minutes. He's a very special player. He's going to end up being, at the end of the season, one of those folks that media write about and say, wow, what a great signing for the Arsenal. He's something special that we haven't seen in midfield for a really, really long time. And again, just seeing those partnerships, I swear, I would even take Maitland-Niles all day over Xhaka. Xhaka should never play again, and I supported Xhaka, as you know. So for me, Lokonga, I love him. I'll give him a 7, just because he was subbed and we didn't get to see him play the whole game. But very special.
Yeah, special talent. Magic.
My only hope about Lokonga is he is kind of falling into the path of Guendouzi right now. And I don't mean from an attitudinal or personal standpoint. I mean a guy who was kind of picked up on the cheap, came out of nowhere.
17 million. 17 million.
That's in these days. That's on the cheap.
It's going to prove to be cheap.
It will look cheap
that's
if
what
he
I
ends
mean.
up being great. Yeah,
a guy who wasn't basically signed to be our starting midfielder.
To start, really, yeah.
Right. Guendouzi was, we thought he'd play the U23s for a year or so, and then all of a sudden he was put into games, excelling into games, and playing almost every week at the beginning of Unai Emery's stint here. We know what happened after that, but I mean, 2 years ago this month, after the Villa comeback game, I was calling for him to be made captain. So that shows what I know. My point about that, though, is that this guy is showing some incredible promise and is ready to be our, in that midfield too, as often as possible. And I just hope that he's not having what some people would refer to as a purple patch. I think it's in him. I think this guy is really that good. I'm excited by it. I used Guendouzi as a cautionary tale of someone who kind of comes out the gate at Arsenal, plays much better than anyone's expecting, and then kind of burns out from it. So I hope that history doesn't repeat. As for today, 7.7.
Nice one, Magic. That's a good one. I really like Sambi. I really do. I think he's a breath of fresh air in that midfield. He moves the ball so quickly, and he's got these deceptive little touches where an opponent's coming to him and he's just got a little touch that he can get around them. It's incredible, and he does it all the time. So it was interesting to see him and Maitland-Niles in there, because how it would dovetail and how Maitland-Niles would play in there, because obviously Thomas Partey probably doesn't have the fitness to go in there right now. But I'll be honest with you, I rate Sambi very highly. I think when we start to get ourselves together at the top end of the pitch, he's going to prove to be a real star in this team. I'm going to give him a 7.5 today. Came off obviously early for Thomas Partey, but 7.5 is still a really good mark considering when he went off.
And Chad, I'm not comparing him to Guendouzi in any way other than the scenario. I'm not saying he's a comparable player.
The situation.
Yeah,
you could have used a better example, Magic Mike. I'm just saying. You opened yourself up right there to that one.
I open myself up all the time. What can I
do? All right, Kev. Who's next?
Let's go for the recovery man. Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Come out of nowhere. Remember, what is it, a week ago, people were having a meltdown about, he wanted to do this. He's been treated badly. He's
training with the U23s.
Yeah, training with the U23s and all this kind of thing. What's your, let's go with Mike on this one first. So what's your mark on?
Go on, Magic.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Magic.
About 20 minutes into the game, once the feed finally came on in the States, I think one of the first things that we got to see was him lying down behind the wall on a free kick for Norwich, something that Lee Dixon hates. And I think of him every time I see that, because he's like, if they told me to do that, I would walk off the pitch. He's like, it doesn't work. People, how often do you end up seeing but I love that play. Do you think that was part of his like reconciliation with Mikel Arteta? It's like, we'll play you in the midfield, but every time there's a free kick in our final third, you're going to be the dude that lies down.
You got to go horizontal.
Who was the guy that lied down before him? Bellerin? Like,
yeah,
it was, I think. Yeah.
I love the guy that lies down, but it is ridiculous. He's a guy I didn't really notice a ton today. And I said this during the game, like, I don't remember him carrying the ball. I don't remember him really being in possession at all. You know, again, when you get further up the pitch, you don't want those, you know, the I didn't notice him thing like you want in the back line. But, you know, I thought he was okay. I'd love to see him get that opportunity more, but not at the expense of Thomas Partey or Sambi Lokonga. So, he'll be our starting midfielder against Wimbledon. Let's put it that way. And I feel good about our chances in that game because of it. So I'll give him a 6.
You mean Burnley? Burnley, yeah?
No, I mean Wimbledon.
Went in the League Cup.
Yeah, in the League Cup. Hey, listen, we don't know. Thomas Partey might have to play. Yeah. You know what I mean? He might have to play to get minutes under his belt. So Maitland-Niles is going to be a tough battle against a fit team in Burnley and stuff. So
I'd love to see him fight for it. I don't love the way it happened, but that'll be gone in a couple months. I mean, unless he continues to be a disruption, if he ever was one, you know, as long as he's not a problem child in the dressing room, then however he got to the position that he's in, where maybe he plays the odd game in center midfield, agrees to play as a wing back if we have to shape that position. We made a tactical change in the middle of the game today where we took out Tomiyasu and put in, was it Smith Rowe? And Mainsley just automatically, I guess, can shift back into a wingback position. He's versatile, and we need that. So again, you know, would you want him in that position in a FA Cup semifinal against Chelsea or City? Probably not, but he's perfectly useful. And if he's our squad player instead of Chambers, I'd be fine with that.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that.
Here's the scoop, Kev. As long as Thomas Partey is playing, it's okay to have Sambi or someone else beside him other than Xhaka, right? I'd take Maitland-Niles partnering Partey if Sambi's injured every day of the week over Xhaka.
Basuma would have been nice.
Well, he's not here. We've got to deal with what's here.
Right.
And I think throwing his toys out the pram the way he did on Instagram, there are a lot of fans that were against him for doing that. I could understand coming from the Hale End and being at the club, being upset and crying out, right? Because he loves the club. He never really wanted to go, just wanted to be given a chance always to play in midfield. Now, he's not going to get to play there every week. But as I've said before, he's a player that is so versatile that you need in this team. If there's an injury to the right back, he should be the first player Arteta chooses if Double T is injured. You know, he's that Phil Neville hybrid satellite where he can plug and play because he's that versatile. And I think that, you know, he deserves to be given a chance. And we always shout about players who throw their toys out the pram, but here's a player who's actually trying to make it work. Clearly, he's done things in training, Kev. Others, he would never have been chosen to play. And maybe some people say, "Oh, don't say that," because we're desperate.
Maybe he's got his head down.
He's working hard. So is he the answer? No. But is he someone that you need in a squad over a season when you're playing in domestic cup competitions and the league, absolutely. So for me,
100.
just for the effort today, and you know what? For the first time in a long time, I felt like I saw him play with joy, and that's a really big deal for Arsenal players. How long has it been since we've seen players play with joy and confidence?
Who want to play? You know, even when it was at its tightest, 0-0, he wanted to play. He made a couple of bad passes. He still wanted the ball. That's what I want to see. That's that mentality of crossing that white line and wanting to be better than your opponent. So it's the little things that I look at. Yeah, you made a mistake. You got to make a mistake. Nobody's not, perfect, but he wants to get back on the ball. Obviously, there's a change in the midfield, and he goes to right back, and he's still bombing up and down, making challenges. That's all we want from him. We don't want no more than that.
Kev, I would rather him. Someone just said it too to me. I'd rather him than El Neni as well. I really would. I've seen that show before. I've seen the Xhaka show, seen the El Neni show.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't he be given a shot? And you know what? He's he's Arsenal through and through as well. And sometimes if you feel like you're not going to get a chance, you're a professional footballer. You got a career. You got to feel like you may need to find a way to move on. So I don't know. What's your score for him, Kev?
Yeah, I'm giving Ainsley Maitland-Niles a 6.5 today. I thought for his first game back in the fold, again, the massive pressure on whoever's going to play today, especially in that engine room. I thought he'd done pretty well today. Again, we suffered because at the top end of the pitch we weren't there. We weren't there. We couldn't really finish our dinner as we would have liked, but because we had opportunities, we had ample opportunities. But fair play to him. He played 2 different positions and we won the game. So that's fantastic. So 6.5 from me.
All right.
Right. Next is Martin Ødegaard, number 8. And let's go with Sophie on this one.
If you can't see what he can bring to the table once he gets his feet really under the table. Last season, you guys, he got that injury when he went off on international duty. But there are times where I've said this before, in Ozil's heyday, he thinks ahead of everybody. And everyone's going to need to try and start getting on his same page. I know some people say, oh, he should have played ESR instead of Ødegaard. He not only is so creative, Kev, but he's very well disciplined when he has to track back. And I like that about him too. So for me, just his passing, he's so smart. He's a smart footballer, and this club needs smart footballers. We haven't had them in a really long time. I love how silky he is. Haven't had a lot of silk lately either. So for me, I'll give him an 8. I thought he was really good.
Are you seeing the chat right now? They're going 5s and 9s for Ødegaard.
What? Well, I'm talking.
That's the range.
I'm going to go
that
in
the
there
range?
now.
Yeah, I mean it's
there's 7. There's a 9 point. Listen, Mike. You know why? Because I think everyone was so desperate for this Maddison deal or for Usem Aouar. And because we saw Ødegaard last season, to everyone it felt like he wasn't a new signing. He wasn't the shiny toy. And I think that's where that comes from with Arsenal fans. Yeah. But you asked Kev, who was covering him in La Liga, and he saw him play for Real Sociedad when he was on loan there from Real Madrid. He was one of the best players in La Liga. This guy's not a joke.
When you give him a 5 and then your next comment includes the word fraudetta about Arteta, then you lose a little bit of credibility.
I mean, what is this comment? Ødegaard was trash. What game are you watching? I don't get it.
Maybe he lives in an area where trash is like really important to people.
Trash was like, I mean, he's going to watch him. He's going to elevate this team. Who was joking? No, someone else was joking. Anyway, for me, you guys go on, but I love what he can be and what he is right now because he's just going to get better. Yeah.
Magic? Ødegaard.
He's one of 2 people I would nominate for man of the match today. I mean, he's not the only person that can do this, but he put in Aubameyang early in the game for that chance. Aubameyang may or may not have been an inch offside, and didn't get the shot off anyway. But yeah, mean, he was started over Smith Rowe for a reason. I do think that the two of them can play together, but I don't mind if they don't. And I think it'll flip-flop. I don't know that Odegaard is basically unseated ESR in that position, but who cares? We have both. And I knew when ESR came on today, we may get to that, but I knew when ESR came in today that he was going to come in, change the game, and boss it. And he, I think he did a good job at that. But Odegaard for me is 7.94. I really had to think about that 100.
Yeah, that 4.
You know what, Mike? You just
7.92 and 7.94. There's like a massive difference in his what are they with his wage packet, where he has like the extras, the add-ons.
Yeah,
that's where you get those.
The sundries. Do
you know what? You know what you just said, Mike. That's really important. Before Kev gives his mark in,
I said something
seconds.
important.
No, no. Like, why can't Emile Smith Rowe and Odegaard? Why can't we have both? They don't always have to play in the same game, but we have options. Manchester City, look at their creativity. Look what they have. We've got 2. At best,
no one's complaining
right now.
that Riyad Mahrez can't break into the starting lineup because of
it's ridiculous.
Phil Foden or vice versa. I mean, we should have 2 at every position, and this again. Owen's going to laugh because if he's still here, because he said this while we were watching the game. But this whole Odegaard might block ESR's progression thing. BS.
Nonsense.
That's rubbish.
Come on.
Absolute nonsense.
So we should have a great first 11 and a crappy second 11, just so that no one that's in the first 11 can,
The key to it is this, Magic and Sophie and everybody listening. The key to it is it shouldn't matter who you play. They should all be able to link and perform together. So you can put Odegaard and Smith Rowe and Saka there, and they should be able to dovetail pretty nicely. So again,
we have an 8.765431 in the chat.
I like Martin Odegaard. I think
I like him.
I really think we still are not utilizing his qualities enough.
Well
Here's
said,
the reason
Kevin.
why. As soon as he gets the ball and he does that, get on your bike, get moving. That's where you have to move. Not after he's got his head up and he's waiting. No, because the defender can read that. As soon as he does that, you move. Because just the shirt alone, the body, he will pick the pass. And again, it's going to take a little bit of time for these players to really understand how good this kid is. Because I'm telling you, he's special. He's a special talent with a special football brain. He really is. And I give Odegaard today, I'll give him 7.5 today. Right.
All right, Kev.
So that's all the midfield
getting
taken care
close
of.
to the end now, folks.
Yeah, we are. Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe.
Okay, this was the one negative for me. Well, not one, but I mean, we weren't perfect. But then again, he turned up at the end when we needed the goal. And if it wasn't for his kind of, being in the box and taking that shot, Aubameyang wouldn't have scored. So you say to yourself, at least he put himself in a position. He's got to stop. Why isn't Odegaard taking those free kicks, Kev? Nicolas Pepe, especially the one that was more on the... It wasn't natural for him. There was Maitland-Niles and there was Pepe. And it suited more of a right-footed player than a left-footed player.
That was the worst. That was the worst part of the game for us today.
Arteta needs to get that right. I don't know what he's doing with the set pieces and stuff like that. Odegaard's passing is incredible. I would even say when there's some free kicks a little bit further out, let Ben White take them and whip them into the box. I think that's something that Arteta needs to fix quickly, because we had... I can't remember how many corners, 6 or 7. And then the free kicks outside the box, we had opportunities. And to not have a player that can at least make the goalkeeper work hard in that moment, I just didn't feel it. There were times where it felt like he had lead in his boots, So for me, I was thinking, even though he disappears for like parts of the game, or he doesn't... His final ball, he just can't execute properly. He comes up in the big moment, and I think that's why he gets picked. So for me, he gets a 6 today, and he can do better, and I think he will do better as the season goes on.
Yeah. Magic?
Yeah, I'm not going lower than 6 for just about it, for anybody today, but I will give him a 6.1. But that isn't to say that he shouldn't be out there every week because of what he's capable of. I mean, the guy, he relies on the way the game is going as to whether he can make a huge impact on it or not, and that's okay. You can have a player or two like that in the 11 every week, and it's up to everybody else to put him in the position to score, to get on the end of some of his mazy dribbles and crosses. So it didn't work out for him today. It will work out for him another week, and Pepe's not a failure. He's not. Forget the price tag. He's a guy that needs to be playing for us, and today was a 6.1. No big deal.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I thought Pepe started the game.
No big whoop.
I thought Pepe started the game very direct, and
we wouldn't know.
Got the ball,
we wouldn't know here.
Yeah, you wouldn't know, mate. You were watching the kitten.
I was watching the kitten with huge eyeballs.
But every time Pepe got the ball, he was running, trying to be positive and run at the fullback, which I loved. I loved that confidence. And some bloke put it there, which was right. Very direct, and then he had a couple of bad touches, and then he kind of went back into his shell a little bit. So, listen, I like Pepe. I think Pepe can do better, and he will do better. But I think it was a pretty quiet game, considering. But he was there when it really mattered to make that challenge and hit the post, and then Aubameyang put it in. So I'm going to give Pepe a 6 today, but I know he can play better. He's proven he can play a lot better. So I'm going to go with a 6 for Pepe. Okay, let's move on to Bukayo Saka. What would you give Saka? And I'm going to go Sophie again on this one. Soph?
Okay, he's like a national treasure for England now. But for the Arsenal, he is like a double treasure, okay? But also, he's not immune to criticism, okay? And there were times where his finishing has got to be better. He and ESR had 2 really good chances in the second half late on to bury the game completely and take away that agita that we were having, right? Mm-hmm. They've got to take better chances, Kev. They really do, and he has to be a bit smarter with his end product. But at the same time, he also was tenacious today. Broke up play, stole the ball, which I thought was impressive in spurts. But if I'm going to give Pepe like a 6, did I give him a 6 or a 6.5? I'm going to give Saka I actually think Pepe had a better game than Saka. I'm going to give him a 5.5. I just think that he, when you get lauded so much, I don't think he's the character that starts believing the hype, but we've got to be really careful here with Saka, for me. And I think he needs to be managed properly. And I think that, we just need to see a better end product. So I know he's going to be a superstar this season as the season goes on, Kev. I know it. But he just needs to improve his game in that final third, in those moments.
Third. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair. Magic?
You just put it up. My favorite name in the chat, Rancid Pumpkin. Getting ready for Halloween, I see. 6.887. Yeah, I'm not going to go that high on Saka, but look, Saka is one of these players that you can see his quality. It doesn't take much to see how good he is, but then you look over the course of 2 months and you're like, well, how many goals and assists does he have? Like it's a weird thing, and so I'm kind of piggybacking on what you were saying. Like he changes games. He's better than anyone else that we can put in that position, presumably, but there isn't that end product. And in order to take that next leap, in order to be considered in the realm of a Phil Foden or more experienced players who light up the stat sheets, he needs to be part of goals. And it's been Arsenal's problem. I mean, we got 1 goal all season in 4 games. So it's not just down to him, but he needs to be part of 20, 25 goals this season, whether assisting or scoring. And you just don't see that happening So, you know, today, again, I'll give him a flat 6. I'm not even going with decimals on that.
Oh, look at you. No decimal points this time.
No decimal. You know, sometimes 6.0000 is appropriate. And I'm going with that for Saka today. And I can't wait to see him play against Burnley next week because he'll be much better. We've seen him have off games and then come back and be brutally amazing in the next game. Brutally amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Saka for me, I give him the same mark as you, Magic. I think some of the times where he could really get going, he gets fouled. Because there's some good play. It takes a good touch. And that's the respect that the opposition have for him. Because he's a fine player. He's young, but he's a fine player. And when the opposition keeps fouling you, you know they're fouling you for a reason because they don't want you to get going. Because once he gets a head of steam up, he's very difficult to stop. Sophie, I agree with you as well. He needs the end product in that final third has to be better, 100%. Aubameyang needs it. We need it as Arsenal. We really need it desperately. But I still think he worked hard. He dug in, but it wasn't perfect at the top end of the pitch, and that's why he's there. So I'll give him a 6.
All right.
Right. Aubameyang. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I'm going to start with Magic on this one, Soph.
Yes.
What's your mark for Aubameyang, Magic?
Aubameyang. Man on the spot today. The effort from him today was there. There was, the microcosm of that entire thing was that one play where he basically, you know, he took on a defender, put it, you know, yards in front of himself, and then basically put it on himself to beat the defender, and he did. It's nice to see from him. You know, I've had a lot of negative things to say about Aubameyang in recent weeks. I tend to think, and I still think this, that he might be on the downside of his Arsenal career on this 3-year arc that he seems to have. But today, no problems. I mean, look, he was in the right spot for the goal today. I don't know that he specifically created it but he's the one that put it in, and for that you give him a 7.49.
7.49. All right, Magic. That's cool. So, what's your thoughts on Aubameyang today?
Well, firstly, I like the endorsement from Sean that I could have scored that goal. This is true. I could have scored it with my ankle weights as well. But here's the scoop. You guys, what he did off the ball today, I've not seen him work this hard in a really long time. I think I tweeted he was employee of the day today.
And he was on time.
For the first time, yes. And for the first time, I felt like he put the team on his shoulders a little bit. And we've got to be fair. You know, as loud as our criticism is, so does our credit have to be. And yes, he missed chances in the first 20 minutes. We could have been 3-0 up. But the runs he was making, the ball sometimes was just, you could say, oh, well, he was short to the run. But maybe the ball was a little long, right? Because there were some really good over-the-top balls to him, but he was making those runs. He was putting himself in those positions. And I just felt like it was his best game I'd seen in a long time. Should he have scored more goals? Absolutely. But you know what? It takes one goal, and this man here will tell you, one goal to open the floodgates for you as a striker as the season goes on. And I thought he worked really hard, Kevin, and he deserves a solid, 8 for me. For leadership today, which I've not really seen from him much on the pitch lately. For his tenacity, he never gave up. He ran the whole time. And his energy, I think, was infectious. So Aubameyang's best game in a long time.
You got to put Archangel's...
Is he giving me shit?
No. He's giving Aubameyang shit by saying he's no Beth Mead.
Listen, I just think it's really unfair to... I think it's his best game in a while, Kev. You tell everyone. You're the one that's been in that position and been through what he's been through.
I agree. I really do agree with you, Soph. I'm giving Aubameyang 8 today, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to give him an 8. He's running for not a lot of change. There was not a lot of change in the outcome. He was running in behind. He was getting buffeted. They pulled him down. You know, he had chances. It never went his way. And we've seen easy, the head could easily drop. It could easily drop. But no, he kept going. He kept going second half. He won some headers. He chased the goalkeeper to the defenders and he ran back forth. There was a couple of through balls, as you said, Soph, which were just maybe a little long for him. Couldn't get on the end of it. Where he opened up his legs and ran Grant Hanley was a joy to see, because we don't really get to see that enough. But when it boils down to it, Sophie, Magic Mike, when it boils down to it, we've said it, we want our best striker to show up and make the difference. And he showed up. Yeah, we all could have scored it from a yard out, but you know what? You've got to be there. You've got to be there to score it. And he was there to score it. Arsenal win 1-0 against Norwich at home. Aubameyang's name's in the headlines. What a good day for Aubameyang.
I wish I could figure out how his mind worked. I mean, I guess this could be said about a lot of strikers. I mean, what makes him get up for a game versus not? Like what? I mean, it's so mercurial, I guess would be the word for it. I just don't understand, you know. But today he had that passion, and look, if he brings that to the table and we can get some consistency with our attack, then he will be in those positions.
Magic, we said something in the week, Sophie and I. We said, this is where we're going to find out about the players. Who wants it today? Because you know what? Not going a goal up inside 20 minutes means the pressure just mounts and mounts and mounts on the team.
He didn't give up, Kev.
He didn't give up. And a lot of the team, I'd say all the team, kept going. They kept fighting. Even when we're 1-0, we should have made it 2. We should have made it 2. But when you don't make it 2, an opportunity opens up like what happened to Pookie at the end.
Listen,
and that's where you need your defenders to make that last-ditch tackle to preserve that clean sheet.
Absolutely, and I want to put this. I want to put this comment up. Where is it? This is what makes me mad, right? Ronaldo scored a tap-in from a deflection, and he's lauded. Okay, it's Ronaldo, but stop. Come on, it's a tap-in. Aubameyang scores a tap-in. It's like, oh, yeah, Sophie could have scored that. I mean, come on, people. What is wrong with you? You know, one player gets lauded, the other one doesn't, just because of stature or whatever. Let's not forget the player Aubameyang has been. He had an absolutely horrific season last season. But today, to me, I saw something. I've ripped him to shreds. But today, I saw something in him that I haven't seen in a long time. He looked like he wanted to make it right. He wanted to. He looked hungry. And that was the difference. So
the Gooner family is a family, but there's a heck of a lot of numpties in this family, and you know.
Listen, by the way, T-Man, we don't do super chats, mate. Just ask your question.
I love that he just started it with super chat though. Like that's free and it's great. But yeah.
He's giving 210,000 there.
It's 210 grand. We'll take your 210 grand. Thank you so much. And Nor Gunner says I would have hit the post. Probably. But listen, when you're under that insurmountable pressure and you're captain of Arsenal Football Club and you've been ripped to shreds by everybody, he showed up today. Let's just leave it at that and let's see how the season goes.
Yeah, today he showed up. That doesn't mean he's back or not back. I mean, we don't know. Let's find out.
I've never seen more polarizing opinions on today. Aubameyang, Odegaard, and not Tierney. Those two. Very, very polarizing opinions.
Let's put it this way. There's a word that we have not heard, or as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen it in the chat today. And this tells you everything you need to know about Aubameyang's game today. The one word that we have not seen is Martinelli. So if no one...
Not once.
if no one's crying out for Martinelli, then Aubameyang must have actually had a pretty good game, because you know that if he came out and was dipping his head and not making runs and not playing off the ball, people would have been crying and arguing about Martinelli. I'm the first person to wonder why Gabriel Martinelli doesn't get more minutes than he does. But today, there was no reason to bring him on.
Listen, I'm not, and I'm Herb. I'm not saying that he's on the caliber of Ronaldo. I'm just saying how people look at one situation. It's like, you know, when we're comparing apples and apples.
Yeah.
Come on, Kev. What's next?
You guys are cursed.
We're going to wrap things up here.
Cursed by having 700 people in the chat, because out of those
we
700,
730. Kev, tell him, otherwise I'm going to. You know what? I'm going to get this out.
365.
I'm going to get this out. I'm going to get Vinny out.
Everyone,
I'm going to get the samurai sword out. Come on, Vinny. Here we go.
Listen, we need minimum 400 likes, guys. Come on. There's 700. There's over 700 of you there. Come on, hit that like button, please.
And I know,
if
Kevin,
you love that Patrick
matter,
Vieira, sorry, Mike. If you love that Patrick Vieira beat the Spuds today,
Stuff the Spud. Hey, and by the way, Sophie, here's the thing. Spurs had some players missing.
oh,
Right? Some players missing, and they get duffed in 3-0 at Crystal Palace. So, hello. Not everybody.
Super.
Yeah.
I skipped my son's game today for the Arsenal, and
For the
there's
Arsenal,
the prodigal
bless you.
son.
Love
he got
it.
himself
Love
a
it.
brace.
Also, hit the like button, because otherwise Newman will send more art in, and we don't want that. But
No, we don't want that art.
was
Right.
your son wearing an Arsenal shirt, or was he? He better be wearing an Arsenal shirt. I didn't
No,
see that.
it's his club team. He just played a game today, which I
Just
missed
okay.
because I'm an awful father.
All right, let's wrap this up, puppies.
Right.
I'll wrap this puppy up.
So Thomas Partey and Emile Smith-Rowe came on in the 62nd minute. What mark do you give them?
We combining these into one mark?
Yeah, let's just
Oh,
wrap them up.
we could wrap it up. You could give them a different mark. but
Thomas
you just-
Partey.
Thomas Partey and Smith-Rowe.
If Thomas Partey's fit, Kev, he starts every single game. Josh, you
Just wants
you
to
should
sell it.
take back what you said.
I want him to come back on. I'm gonna bruck him up. What is he on? Listen, bruck him up, man. That Josh. I still can't believe Josh. I'll tell you, I still can't believe it, man.
Are we talking about Brighton Josh right here? Josh is a human.
Yeah, Brighton Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brighton.
Yeah,
Look, man. You know, the guy knows how to sport a nice mustache and a beard, but like football, what? No, the guy's forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. But
Mike, give it a salute, please, Mike, because Vieira done the business for us.
Yes,
Get in there.
If that's the one win he'll have all season, I'll take it. Those subs, I'll give them a 7.69127. Because, you know, if you extrapolate it over the whole game, they really, you know, they did the job. Partey, God, he just has to stay healthy.
He does. He really does. And in a nutshell, because we really have to wrap this up. Mike, Emile Smith-Rowe and Partey, when they came on, you saw the difference.
Yeah.
You saw the difference. So when we were talking about, especially with Emile Smith-Rowe, whether it's Odegaard, Pepe, whatever, we have options. It's a good thing. For me, they both get an 8. I mean, Thomas Partey, he's just different grade.
Is 8. That pass alone is 8.
Can I just point out that you now have 410 out of 700. You've done it. You've
we got to half.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, no, it's not even half. It's
over half. It's way over half.
Let me do my math.
Once you put this up, it's
about 65%.
And then the samurai comes out, and then Magic Mike threatens to boil water and make him tea. Oh, that's it. Thomas Partey, that pass, that cut through Norwich. I'm telling you, that really made the goal.
It was.
That really put him on the back foot. I'll give Thomas Partey, I would give Smith-Rowe an 8, but he was a little bit wasteful at times, especially with that opportunity. So I'm going to give him a 7.5. And let's go to Cedric Suarez. Yeah, he came on in the 82nd minute.
Oh, I didn't.
I'll start this one off. I thought Cedric done all right. Didn't have really much to do. 82nd minute. I'll give him a 6.
He gets a 5 just for putting the shirt on.
Five literally is what you do when a player almost doesn't play. Because, you know, so yeah, I don't know how you do anything other than 5 for
Okay,
Cedric.
what about the manager? What about the manager?
Soph?
No.
Starting with Soph. Yeah, we start with Soph.
You know what? You know me. I just call it as I see it. I don't have an agenda. And today deserves credit. The team was prepared. They came out with energy. They came out with fight. Certain players looked like totally different to how they've been in the first 3 games of the season. The manager for me today gets, look, tactically, Kev, I still think handbrake off. All right, we need to be more aggressive. We need to create more chances. He needs to trust the players a little bit more, give them a little bit more freedom. But I would say he gets a solid 7 today.
This is a cop out of me, but I'll rate him today. I mean, I'll rate him today based on what we see next week. I can't rate him on a single game. I know.
Magic.
That's not how we play the game.
How can you rate him next week when the game was played today?
Because his entire job for Arsenal is in keeping this club plugged in overall. We won. We've seen him rate him on today. I understand the rules of the game, but we've seen him play blinders, not him, but we've seen the team play blinders under him and credit him for that. And then the next week come out and absolutely look like they're lost. And we've seen vice versa. So if I have to rate him for the game, it's a 7.5.
Okay.
But I'm very interested to see what he does to carry this forward into the next game with the club's mentality, because I think that is his job to do. And so I'm not trying to, I said it was a cop out at the beginning because I knew what your reaction would be. I think
you give him a mark, Mike. It's all right.
I'll give him a mark. I'll give him a 7.5, and then if he comes out next week and we look like we don't know how to break Burnley down, I'll be very disappointed and say, maybe this was, was more to do with Norwich than it was with Arteta.
Mike, you know something? That's football.
I know.
Kev, he picked the team everyone wanted.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I don't think he's the answer long term. We said on the show yesterday, maybe he's going to be the one that takes us to the promised land. Maybe he won't. Maybe this team is set up so the next manager comes in and does it. But you guys, he chose the team you wanted today. Yes, we have major issues still, but you got what you wanted. We got 3 points and we scored a goal. I don't care if it's a fluke or it came off someone's... What's it?
Behind.
It went in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I give him a 7. I give Arteta a 7 today.
Sorry, Kev. No. I'm being told that apparently we're doing a podcast right now and that it's not going so well because Owen's internet.
Oh, yeah, we got to go. We're 1 hour, 22 minutes in on the post game.
But before the 670 people leave, can I make one request of all the squaddies right now, who I love desperately and intensely. Something that'll take you less than 30 seconds. And this isn't about vanity. This is about charity. Gooners versus Cancer. I'm not asking you to donate today, although you're welcome to. We got a great bunch of stuff. Go to goonersvcancer.com. But by tomorrow, please go to Twitter. Follow Gooners v Cancer on Twitter. And if you tweet out the message on our Twitter account, which is about the football content awards, go to the Twitter account and follow, and there's a message on there that you tweet out. If you tweet that out and retweet our tweet, you're in a contest to win a signed Lee Dixon retro jersey. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. You can bid on it in our charity, but if there's 670 people in here and you all went and did that today and took a minute out of your day, that would be awesome. And winning that would help us get more eyes on us and more notoriety. And ultimately, that will raise money to fight blood cancers, which is our ultimate goal. We don't need to win awards just to win awards, but it would do a lot for our publicity if you could help us vote. So please go to follow on Twitter or on Instagram, Gooners v Cancer. And thanks again for your help. And you guys are amazing. Kev, I probably got like 9 to 15 shirts for you to sign next month or something like that. But
no problem, Magic. You know that.
You and Alan and Lee have just been amazing with what you're willing to do for our charity, and I just wanted to say thank you. And there's so many squaddies in this chat right now who have already donated to the cause, and we truly appreciate it. So
thanks squaddies. Thanks to the big
epic
squaddies.
stuff. Well done to everyone in chat. Polarizing opinions.
GoonerOpenMic.com is apparently happening right now.
You better go. Your own podcast is running and you're not even on it.
See you later. See you, mate.
I didn't watch my son play today. I'm not on my own podcast. I'm just an awful person.
Yeah. But I love you guys. You're a rebel. Take care. Take care, Magic.
We won.
Yes, we did. We won. All right. Good stuff. All right. Take care. Kev, take us out.
Sophie, listen, you enjoy Arizona. We've won the game. We've got 3 points. We've jumped out of the bottom three from the bottom, which is great. Here's one thing I will say. We know nothing's really fixed, but we've got a clean sheet, we've got a goal, and we've got 3 points in the bin. Squaddies, that'll do for now. I salute you, squaddies.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.